Sunday, Donald Trump Jr. clarified his original response about why he talked to a Russian attorney with supposed ties to the Kremlin. White House aides say nothing came from the meeting, and the uproar and the headlines about it are an overreaction to a whole lot of nothing. But the president's critics say this is part of a continuing pattern of members of the campaign or transition forgetting about meetings with various Russians and then recanting and recharacterizing why they were meeting. Correspondent Kevin Corke has the latest tonight from the White House. Good evening, Kevin.
Brett, you're right. This story just doesn't seem to go away. This is either the most direct suggestion between the Trump campaign and Russian officials, or it's simply a matter of a meeting that was set up under false pretenses that had absolutely nothing to do with the campaign itself.
Our position is that no one within the Trump campaign colluded in order to influence the election.
Like his father, Donald Trump Jr. took to Twitter today, firing back at suggestions that by taking a meeting with a Russian lawyer for the purpose of getting dirt on the Clinton campaign during the 2016 race, that it meant his team had somehow colluded with the Kremlin. Tweeting tongue-in-cheek, "Obviously, I'm the first person on a campaign to ever take a meeting to hear info about an opponent. Went nowhere, but had to listen." White House officials say the president only learned about the meeting a couple days ago. But critics argue the fact that the campaign's operatives, Jared Kushner and Paul Manafort, were there at all is highly unethical.
There's no reason for this Russian government advocate to be meeting with Paul Manafort or with Mr. Kushner or with the president's son if it wasn't about the campaign and Russia policy.
This is the first time the public has seen clear evidence that senior level officials of the Trump campaign met with potentially an agent of a foreign government to try to obtain information that would discredit Hillary Clinton.
In a statement, Mr. Trump Jr. discounted the meeting with Natalia Veselnitskaya, writing, quote, "Her statements were vague, ambiguous, and made no sense. She began discussing the adoption of Russian children. It became clear to me that this was the true agenda all along."
I think what's important here is that we're at day 200 or so of no evidence of Russian collusion. People think they want to convert wishful thinking into hard evidence.
Asked about the lawyer, Putin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, "We don't know who she is, and obviously we can't keep track of all the meetings of all Russia lawyers in Russia and abroad." The latest Russian saga managed to momentarily knock the White House off message, following a G20 that saw the president deliver a powerful speech in Poland but steer clear of sanctions talk. Sanctions were not discussed in my meeting with President Putin, the president tweeted. Nothing will be done until Ukrainian and Syrian problems are solved. That appeared to contradict Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who said the president did tell Putin that Congress was pushing for more sanctions. The president also lashed out at critics of his daughter Ivanka, who momentarily filled his seat while he conducted a meeting on the sidelines of the summit. If Chelsea Clinton were asked to hold a seat for her mother, he tweeted, "As her mother gave our country away, the fake news would say Chelsea for Prez." That drew this response, "Good morning, Mr. President. It would never have occurred to my mother or my father to ask me, were you giving our country away? Hoping not." Speaking of Twitter, late this afternoon, Brett, Donald Trump Jr. said that he would be happy to pass along what he knows. He said that in a tweet talking about possibly speaking to the Senate Intelligence Committee. It's also important to note that the outside counsel team for the Trumps has said this about this lawyer that we talked about in the piece. She may have been connected to Fusion GPS. That's actually an opposition research team that has been backed by the Democrats. Brett?
Kevin Corke live on the North Lawn. Kevin, thank you.